So the GT series continues with takedown models dubbed the Academy. But is the Hustle Academy worthy of a purchase? Well, we've got the performance review right now so we can find out. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got the performance review on these guys right here. This is the Nike GT Hustle Academy. So for those of you guys that don't know, there's the GT line, which means greater than. So that's kind of like Nike's current flagship of its own brand outside of the Signature Series stuff. So when you look at any GT labeled model, they're supposed to be Nike's best of the best. Now, when you see the GT Academy label, that means that it's their greater than series, but a takedown model, so just more affordable and it's more widely available for more people. And so far, the GT Cut Academy was an awesome shoe. The GT Hustle Academy, though, is a head scratcher. That's for damn sure. Now, I do have two pairs of these. I wore this white pair indoors and I wore this pink pair exclusively outdoors. So I'm going to be able to give you a perspective of both. I got both of these over at ID for Shoes from eBay. They're located overseas, so one of the reasons why I wanted to go there is mainly because the outsoles here are made up of XDR. And XDR, for those of you guys that are unaware, means extra durable rubber, and it's a standard practice for all overseas releases. And I don't mean like all overseas, I mean that Asia region, mostly because they primarily play outdoors. So the traction pattern here is not quite identical to the GT Hustle 3, but it's very similar, and it performed very similar as well, with the minor exception of that tackiness indoors. I had mentioned this in the Hustle 3 performance review. Gum rubber is some of the tackiest rubber that you can use as far as performance is concerned, and that really saved the pattern, I feel, indoors, especially with a dirtier setting. Whereas this guy right here on the same exact floor didn't perform or bite the floor nearly as well as those did. So if you've never used gum rubber before, go try it, man. It's pretty awesome. This stuff, though, a little bit lackluster. I don't want to say that it's disappointing because it does work well, especially in linear fashion. It's just that some of those harsher lateral movements that you would typically do, whether you're cutting or you're curling around a screen, movements like that just were a little bit lackluster overall. And even the pair that I used outdoors was very much of the same. It was almost the same exact experience, which is kind of rare, especially here where we have more of a textured outdoor court, where sometimes shoes that perform just kind of whatever indoors, they'll usually grip really well on those sandier style outdoor courts. But that was not the case here. This was just kind of like the same exact experience, indoors, outdoors. It was just kind of, it works a little bit, but it's not great. Now, the cushion is something that is very confusing because Nike just states that it's like foam. This is one of the biggest things that I think is like a detriment to their branding. You have some of the best names in the business as far as your proprietary stuff, so why don't you just say what it is, even if it's just Phylon? It's just one of those things where it's like using the basic term of foam is weird, especially today. Today we have better foams than ever before, and you're just saying it's foam. It's soft foam. Like, to say word for word what they actually describe, a pair of soft, responsive foams stacked on top of each other offers a smooth, plush transition as you stride from end to end. Just say dual density whatever foam it is. Please! God damn it! Because when you don't describe what type of foam it is, I'm thinking that this is the most basic of that you have to offer, and it actually feels like that. That's one of the things that I will say is like a huge gripe of mine, is that this shoe, while affordably priced at $95, is the same price as the GT Cut Academy. Those have Zoom Air and dual density foam as well. They state what foam it is, and you can feel all of that stuff. That was a really comfortable shoe. This, they don't have any tech inside. It's just dual density foam, and it's the cheapest foam that you could find, and it's awful, especially outdoors. Indoors, I was able to get away with things, but I'm telling you, the day after playing in these outside, my body felt like I got... And to top it all off, the insole is this piece of It's just one of these things where it's like mind-boggling. It's like, how is this in the same realm of price range as the other version of the Academy that features more tech in it? I get that you want things to be kind of like uniform as far as visuals, like, oh yeah, this one's $95 and this one's $95. See, we're offering affordable stuff. To me, this feels like a shoe that should never have been made. There was absolutely no love put into this thing. I feel like you could have sold more of any other shoe and just saved on this guy, and it's just weird to me. And especially because these come with their whole like move to zero campaign little recycled tag and stuff like that. Like a lot of the shoe is made out of recycled material. And all of that stuff sounds great, but you know how much resources you waste by making something like this? Whatever it is that you're recycling is just negated by just the manufacturing stuff that you have to go through, not even considering all of the fuel that you waste getting it to all of its destinations. And we're just talking about drop shipping it to its warehouse. We're not even talking about the individual shipping that needs to then take place to get it to all of the retail locations. Now the upper is the one thing of the shoe that actually feels like it's premium. They're using Flyknit on this guy, much like the GT Hustle 3. It's not the same exact feeling, so that one was definitely more like, I don't want to call it a natural knit, but it didn't feel like plastic. It felt very much like refined Flyknit. This guy, on the other hand, uses a lot of plastic or TPU yarns, which I don't find to be a bad thing, as long as the shoe doesn't feel like it's made out of plastic, you know what I mean? When it starts to get heat welded, and then everything becomes crispy and hard, almost like you did use plastic panels instead of Flyknit. That's the stuff where I think is like a detriment to Flyknit, but this isn't like that. Instead, the Flyknit yarn, it feels really good. Even the TPU yarn feels good. It's very flexible. It's very breathable. It breaks in rather quickly. So all of those things I think are great. I'm just saying it could have used like a zoom unit or something. I'd even take that stick of gum unit in here. I really would. The fit, on the other hand, is, well, it's very similar to the Hustle 3s, whereas they fit extremely snug. I thought that I was like screwed with these guys, just like I thought with the GT Hustle 3. Good news is they do break in, but they're still very, very snug. Like there's no wiggle room, toes at the tip. If you don't like that, you're probably not gonna like this. I usually do like that, and even then I was like, I don't know if I like this. You know what I mean? It was just very snug. Again, the longer that I played in them, the better that they got, but it was definitely a little uncomfortable at first. Now the support is the other side of the coin that is just, there's nothing in this thing. There's nothing in them. Like it's such a waste of a shoe. It's so weird that something like this was put forward. And then you've got other product like signature product, like the Jaw ones or the Book ones, where you could have taken the budget for this shoe and dispersed it into each of those models so that they could have had heel and forefoot cushion or something better. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things where I'm scratching my head being like, why was this made? And if you decided to make this, why didn't you make them a little bit better? So yeah, torsion support really sucks. Like plain and simple, like there's no other way to explain it. Most of the support you're getting is actually out of the midsole itself. You do sit within there. You're very low to the ground, so that's one of those things where if you like that, you're gonna love this, but it's low to the ground in the sense of like no cushion, not low to the ground in the sense of Zoom Air cushion. But yeah, the midsole, it cages your foot, it keeps you in place, so they are playable. It's just, I don't know how many people are gonna like love this. Obviously, you could take out that insole and you could replace it with something like a Move insole that has built-in torsion support, but there's not, it doesn't even feel like there's a bar in here. Like there's nothing. Like there's not even any passion in this. There's nothing, and you can feel it. Now, with all of that being said, do we happen to have time for a question of the day?
Yes, and it's on topic. Would you rather be a Nike team athlete who gets to showcase the team's shoes, such as the GT Cut, Hustle, and Jump, or a Nike signature athlete who has to showcase dumbed down tech shoes with your name attached to it, such as the Book, Jaw, PG, Sabrina?
I would not put the Sabrina in there, even though you could consider that, but they do use their best foam, or at least one of their best foams, with the React and the Cush Lawn. They're not using Zoom X or anything, but that one's like a mid-tier shoe. The other two I definitely agree, where like the Jaw, there's 3.
Yeah, it was Book, Jaw, and PG.
Oh, well PG's line is canceled.
Well.
So yeah, I will say that his shoe was dumbed down from the beginning, but like they weren't bad performers, you know what I mean? So that's the one thing that they do have going for them, is that the Jaw and the Book, they're not bad performers. They're just very low in what they can offer. You know what I mean? It's like the basic of everything, or the bare minimum of everything. But I wouldn't want to be a Nike athlete, period. They don't treat their athletes well. Their contracts are garbage. I know too much about like the back end of things over there, both from the PR, the design, and the marketing side. It's like ruined the magic. I have a story. I don't know if I should tell it. No? Okay. But let's just say it was interesting. So yeah, with all that being said, I don't really know about these. I personally would stay far away from them. To make them moderately like playable as far as cushion and torsion support, you got to alter them a little bit. And for their price, that could be a viable option for a lot of people. But at the same time, when you have things or places like the Nike outlet where you can get a last year signature model with more stuff in it for half off, and I'm talking about like half off even what this thing retails for, again, this is just a waste. But sound off below and let us know what you think about these, especially if you played in them. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate your guys' time. We'll catch you on the next one. So until then, y'all have a good one.